2019 Jetta S for just $149 a month.
Good morning, America. Breaking news. Senator John McCain returning to Capitol Hill less than a week after revealing he has brain cancer, preparing to cast a crucial vote as President Trump pressures senators to repeal Obamacare.
We have a chance to now do it. They better do it.
Also breaking right now, the president unleashes a new attack on his attorney general and calls for a new investigation of Hillary Clinton.
Flood alert. As another round of severe storms move in, the damage spreading from the southwest to northeast. And the incredible new video of strangers forming a human chain, rescuing each other from dangerous waters. While out west, fire crews from 34 states unite to battle wildfires the size of New York burning right now.
Outrage growing over this fatal crash live streamed on social media. An 18-year-old loses control of the car, rolling over, killing her sister, then continues to broadcast the aftermath.
And the American company taking micromanaging to a whole new level, implanting chips into their employees' bodies, saying they can log in and unlock doors with just a swipe of their hand. Is this new technology about to hit your office?
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And we do say good morning, America. Great to have Michael back. You didn't need a microchip to get in this building. You got this.
Yeah, I flashed the gap, and they said that's better than any microchip. Right. You can put it into your hand.
We're going to talk about that later, but a busy day in Washington.
Busy day in Washington. Welcome back, Michael. John McCain returning to Capitol Hill this morning after revealing he has brain cancer. He's going to be there for that crucial vote to try and open debate on the GOP health care bill. Now, how that vote is going to turn out is still a mystery. And President Trump is unleashed this morning on Twitter, a harsh new attack on his attorney general, calling for a new investigation into Hillary Clinton. And guys, I just have to underscore how unprecedented, how abnormal this is. We have never seen a president publicly attack and humiliate his own attorney general like this. We have never seen a president call for a criminal investigation of the opponent he defeated. This is brand new. This is bizarre. President crossing all kinds of lines.
Bizarre is the word, George, and we'll have more on all that in just a moment. But first, let's go to start with that health care battle. Our congressional correspondent, Mary Bruce, is there on Capitol Hill, has the latest. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Robin. After 7 years of promises and months of planning, today is the day. Senate Republicans are finally going to vote to debate Obamacare, and they're getting a much-needed boost. Senator John McCain swooping in to deliver what could be the deciding vote on his party's defining pledge. Overnight, a surprise twist in the healthcare fight, a jolt of momentum from John McCain. The Arizona senator announcing he is returning to the Senate after revealing last week that he has brain cancer, just in time for a critical showdown vote to overhaul Obamacare. McCain has been recovering at home, over the weekend tweeting this photo on a hike with a friend. Today, he's dipping his feet back into the healthcare debate. With Senate Republicans poised to act, President Trump is ramping up the pressure to deliver.
It's time. You know, after 7 years of saying repeal and replace Obamacare, we have a chance to now do it. They better do it. Hopefully they'll do it.
Speaking to Boy Scouts from across the country at a jamboree in West Virginia, Trump called out the state senator, Shelley Moore Capito, a key holdout, by name.
Get Senator Capito to vote for it. You got to get the other senators to vote for it.
Senate Republicans are set to vote this afternoon to begin debate on a bill.
I know many of us have waited literally years for this moment to finally arrive.
But there's one key question left unanswered. They still don't know what bill they're working on. Will they repeal and replace Obamacare or just repeal? Right now, neither has enough votes to pass. The president's made clear what he wants.
Remember, repeal and replace, repeal and replace. They kept saying it over and over again. We as a party must fulfill that solemn promise to the voters of this country to repeal and replace.
And this is going to be close. This morning, it's unclear if Republicans have the votes to advance this debate. It's why John McCain is so critical. He could bring Republicans one vote closer to that magic 50 number. The president, in fact, just tweeting this morning, so great that John McCain is coming back to vote. Brave American hero. Thank you, John. George.
Okay, Mary, one of many tweets from the president this morning. He's been up early on the attack against his own attorney general, calling for a new investigation of Hillary Clinton. That series of tweets just moments ago, including this one. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has taken a very weak position on Hillary Clinton crimes. He also said, so where is the investigation? Let's get more on this now from our chief White House correspondent, John Karl, senior justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas. And John, let me begin with you. Again, this is so extraordinary what we're seeing right here. No president in modern times has attacked his attorney general like this. No president in modern times has called for an investigation into his opponent. And the president has now done this 3 out of the last 4 days.
Yeah, it's especially bizarre, George, when you consider that Attorney General Sessions actually had offered to resign back in May when the president first exploded on him for his recusal that resulted, the president believes, in the appointment of Robert Mueller as the special counsel. He offered to resign. The president did not accept that offer. Now you have this continual attacks on the Attorney General, somebody who also was, I would say, George, the single most important, arguably the single most important endorsement he got during his presidential campaign, a loyal ally. Now the question is, if he actually goes through and fires him, or if this causes Sessions to quit, who would replace him? We've heard 2 names floated, Rudy Giuliani and Ted Cruz. Both men have said that they are not interested in the job.
They have said they're not interested in the job. I mean, the question is, would the president be trying to get someone who would be in control of the Russia investigation? Meanwhile, this intensified interest in Hillary Clinton seemingly, not seemingly, he's pressuring the attorney general to open an investigation that had been closed.
Yeah, and that's strange given the president's own words. Back in November, after the election, the president himself made it clear that he had no desire to go after the Clintons. He said, essentially let bygones be bygones. Now you have this. We looked back, George. The president has tweeted about Hillary Clinton almost 40 times, 39 times since the election. He won that election, but seems intent on going back and relitigating it over and over and over again.
And of course, this was an investigation that the FBI completed and closed. Let's get more on this now from Pierre Thomas over at the Justice Department. Up till now, Pierre, the Attorney General hanging in there.
He had been hoping that the president's anger would dissipate, George, but that's clearly not happening. These tweets make it clear that the president's still very, very angry about this. And look, at the end of the day, everyone at the Justice Department is watching. Can the Attorney General continue to do his job under these circumstances when it's clear that the president increasingly does not have confidence in him?
But Pierre, there's no law, but we've had all kinds of norms against the president interfering in investigations like this, all kinds of rules and norms and traditions built up that the president doesn't order an investigation into his defeated opponent.
Look, George, tradition has been that the White House and the president do not apply political pressure on the Justice Department with regards to criminal investigations. There's supposed to be a bright red line, but it looks like the president is stepping all over that line, and it creates yet another dilemma for Sessions. Does he stand up for the Justice Department traditions and independence, or does he allow it to appear that the White House is micromanaging the nation's top law enforcement officials, George? That
is the big question. Thank you both very much. And one more tweet from the president this morning. He said, Jared Kushner did very well yesterday in proving he did not collude with the Russians. Witch hunt. Next up, 11-year-old Barron Trump.
Go figure.
Interesting. All right. Thank you, Georgia. We're going to turn now. Turn it all around and go to that severe weather overnight. Flash floods across the South and the Northeast. And now the Midwest is on alert for those storms, and Ginger is here tracking it all. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you, Michael. So many areas we have to hit this morning. Very heavy rain falling in southern Nevada, just north of Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see more water rescues and more images like this that we have in the past 24 hours. Monsoon rains triggering flash flooding again in Arizona. This was the scene in Apache Junction. Cars stranded, roads erased. More than 2 inches of rain falling in just an hour. And now, new video from Arizona where 17 hikers were swept away. A human chain, strangers lifting children out of the water. In Birmingham, Alabama, at least 10 drivers had to be rescued after storm drains were overwhelmed by all the rain. In Mississippi, the radar estimating 8 inches of rain, washing out roads. Near Philadelphia, winds ripping power lines, sparking fires. An amusement park in eastern Pennsylvania under feet of water. And this is what it looked like in Syracuse, New York. Powerful winds tearing the roof off the store, water pouring over the merchandise. In Maryland, an EF2 tornado with winds reaching 125 miles per hour, shredding this building Monday morning. So this is not what we need. More severe storms on the way for the areas so hard hit by flash flooding. You could see damaging winds, certainly hail from eastern South Dakota into Minnesota, and it really starts to move east into that area around the Chicago north suburbs, Fox River. You can see southern Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, the Quad Cities, all going to be an issue as we go through Wednesday, and the flash flood watch still up in the southwest. Robin, Michael, and George?
No, you keep an eye on that, Ginger. Thank you. Now to a scary moment in the air. A United flight forced to turn around, make an emergency landing in Houston after an unruly passenger tried to storm the cockpit. ABC's David Curley is at Reagan National Airport, has those details for us. Good morning, David.
Morning, Ron. This is a story as much about the scare as it is about 5 passengers who sprang into action to put an end to it.
United 898 Tango, Roger, Insurer will get medical and law enforcement.
This morning, no word on whether an unruly passenger will face charges for a midair scare and emergency landing.
We'll make sure we get law enforcement there.
Just 25 minutes after taking off from Houston, passengers say a woman seated in the back row started yelling and hitting the side of the plane.
I hear a woman screaming in the back of the plane. You know, we're all protected and loved. We're all protected and loved. This plane is going to land beautifully and kindly and beautifully.
Within moments, he says the woman on the United flight stands up.
Bolts into the aisle, and with that, you know, starts sprinting toward the cockpit.
He and other passengers jump into action, tackling the woman just before she reached the front of the aircraft.
It took 5, men to hold her down. And it wasn't easy. She was in a totally psychotic state. She was very aggressive.
The jet returned to Houston late Saturday, and the woman was hospitalized.
In another incident, American Airlines says 3 of its crew members were taken to the hospital on Monday. The airline says that the crew was complaining about an odor inside the cabin as this jet was approaching Miami from San Antonio. When they landed, the crew asked to be taken to the hospital. American says they're checking out that A319 jetliner for any kind of problem. George?
Okay, David, thanks very much. We're going to move on now to that tragic car crash in California, where an 18-year-old has been arrested for driving under the influence after crashing and killing her 14-year-old sister while live streaming the whole episode on social media. ABC's Matt Gutman is in Los Angeles with the story. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. And what's perhaps even most disturbing is that she continued that live stream even after that tragic crash. Now, the parents of these 2 girls say their lives are ruined. It's the darker side of live video feeds, and in this case, police say it'll likely be used as evidence in this young woman's prosecution.
Police say Obdelia Sanchez live streamed this hell ride through Central California. Making matters worse, police say she was heavily intoxicated, swerving past that black SUV, 2 14-year-olds in the car with her. Her kid's sister riding shotgun. She can be heard shouting, "She's gonna kill me." Police say that is exactly what happened on Friday as the 18-year-old Sanchez began drifting off Route 165, then overcorrected, the car tumbling, the 3 girls inside screaming.
Jacqueline, please wake up!
Shockingly, with her sister lying lifeless, Sanchez continues to live stream.
I killed my sister, okay? I know I'm going to jail for life.
She's been charged with gross manslaughter while intoxicated.
It's very disturbing to us because the callous nature of her actions, both leading up to this tragedy and in the immediate aftermath.
It's a disturbing countrywide trend. People live streaming their crimes on social media.
I think as our technology increases, we're going to see new innovative ways that people do or commit crimes. And here, the new technology is live streaming.
Police in Florida also accuse Ryan Stiles of drinking and live streaming. He led police on a high-speed chase on the beach in St. Petersburg, Florida last week, mowing over chairs and swigging what seems to be whiskey.
Now, social media companies are struggling to keep up. Facebook says it'll soon have about 7,500 employees reviewing questionable content. That's about a third of its entire workforce. Mostly it means they take these videos down before they can go viral. But what they can't do is stop people from posting these horrors. George.
This is just unimaginable. Okay, Matt, thanks very much. Amy here with today's other top stories.
That's right. And unfortunately, a 10th person has now died in that human smuggling tragedy in San Antonio, where a tractor trailer was found crammed with people. Dozens remain in critical condition. They took turns breathing through a tiny hole in that truck. A Mexican man says he was charged $5,500 for the trip. The driver claims he had no idea he was hauling human cargo. He could now face the the death penalty. Well, the last killer whale born in captivity at SeaWorld has died after an infection. The sudden death of the 3-month-old orca calf in San Antonio has prompted backlash now from animal rights activists. SeaWorld recently stopped the breeding of whales in captivity and has no longer orcas performing tricks during their shows. Overseas, Israel has now removed metal detectors from a holy site in Jerusalem following days of unrest there. The detectors were installed after an Arab gunman killed 2 Israel police officers. Israeli officials are now calling for more high-tech surveillance. And finally, a California distillery is picking up good vibrations for apparently a good reason. They are letting their whiskey listen to music to see if it affects the taste. They're actually putting headphones on the barrels, and you know what they say? It's working. When put to a taste test, the whiskey barrels exposed to everything from classical music to Michael Jackson are winning every time over the ones aged in silence in those taste tests. And they say the Nutcracker music that this one barrel listened to for 3 years straight is winning every time. It's the number one.
Did you just say a barrel listened to?
Yes, because, listen, no, it's the vibrations that the music put into the whiskey.
I think that I speak for Georgia now.
I know what he's saying, but I was just explaining the science. There actually is science where the vibrations are moving the whiskey. You guys are laughing.
I'm saying, I think I speak for Georgia now when I say we believe that dogs talk before we believe that the whiskey's listening to music.
All right.
But that's
the
a great
whiskey
story.
listens to me all the time.
It's a great story. You know, we have another great story this morning. It's about the Chicago Bears linebacker who is now being called a hero for his quick thinking at an airport. He saved someone who was choking, and TJ Holmes is here with the play-by-play. Hey, TJ.
All right, Strahan. Guy starts choking on a brisket sandwich. Older woman comes over, tries to help, gives the Heimlich, but she's not able to dislodge the food. So to the rescue comes a 6-foot, 240-pound dude who happens to be an NFL veteran, but when it comes to the Heimlich, he's a rookie. He quite literally hits people for a living.
Jarrell Freeman on the tackle.
But Chicago Bears linebacker Jarrell Freeman is being praised this morning for delivering a different kind of blow.
Freeman closes the gap.
The guy like 2 seats over, he just stands up abruptly and like runs around the side of the table.
Freeman was in the Austin airport on his way to Bears training camp Sunday when he stopped by for a barbecue sandwich in the food court. He noticed a stranger at a nearby table in distress.
He was just pointing to it. Just pointing to his throat, pointing to his mouth.
Freeman, a Texas native, rushed into action using the Heimlich maneuver. After 2 attempts, Freeman dislodged the food from Austin attorney Marcus Ryan's throat.
When I put the guy down, he was like, "Oh my God, you just saved my life."
And what do you do after saving someone's life? Of course, you take a selfie with them. The two shared their life-saving story on Twitter. Ryan tells ABC News, "I will forever be grateful for his kindness and willingness to help a stranger. A great person like him deserves to have a great season, and I'll be rooting for him."
He said, "I thought a brook is real." I was like, "Well, either it was your rib or your life." That's all I.
Freeman's mom is a nurse, but he's never been trained on the Heimlich at all, so that was the first time. And the guy he saved went back to eating the same brisket sandwich he had just choked on.
Wow.
Right after he choked.
That's good. We got to try that brisket. That's good. That's got to be some good brisket.
That's it. Ginger?
It's back. The heat is coming back for the center of the United States. We'll have more on that in just 30 seconds. First, though, your Tuesday trivia brought to you by Capital One.
This lovely lady has a typical airline credit card, so she only earns double miles on purchases she makes from that airline. Would you earn double miles on, please? Oh, it's unfortunate. There's a better option. The Capital One Venture Card. With Venture, you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase, everywhere, every day. Not just airline purchases. Seems like a no-brainer. What's in your wallet?
And a very good morning, meteorologist Brian Vandergraaf. Dew points dropping into the 50s, low 60s. That means the air is being squeegeed out as that drier air moves in. It's going to make for a much more comfortable feel later this afternoon. Highs should typically be about 88. We're shooting for a high today of about 86 degrees. Now, tomorrow we'll throw a few more clouds in the mix, but still a pretty solid day at 84. Now, Thursday, Friday, we do have introduction of some showers. More isolated Thursday, better chance Friday, but that sets the stage for a beautiful weekend and the City Open.
Coming up, the new twist in that kayak murder mystery. Could the woman accused of killing her fiance walk free in just months? Dan and Nancy are going to weigh in live.
And Johnny Depp firing back at his former business managers. Are they trying to publicly shame him?
The old dorm, if these walls could talk.
Stop hammer time.
I
think the wall is talking.
MC Hammer? He can't.